On Friday Night SmackDown, we witnessed Roman Reigns firing Paul Heyman. There is breaking news concerning the real reason why this happened. And many fans are wondering, is this firing part of a storyline? Or could Paul Heyman actually have been fired from WWE? So we're going to talk about all that and more. So let's get into it. What happened on SmackDown was Paul Heyman was patiently waiting outside for his tribal chief, Roman Reigns, to arrive. And then all of a sudden, in one of the SUVs that pulled up, Brock Lesnar got out. And Paul Heyman was very shocked. As we all know, there's been back and forth for the last few months. Is Paul Heyman on Roman's side or Brock's side? Should you trust him or should you not? And tonight it all came to a head. So then later on, Roman finally did arrive, and it looked like that him and Paul Heyman were still together, so they walked to the ring, and it looked like all was good. But then once they got into the ring, Roman confronted Paul Heyman. Roman said that he has witnessed a lot of strange things happening involving Brock Lesnar over the last few months, and Roman alluded to the fact that Paul Heyman is still Brock Lesnar's advocate. And that's when Paul Heyman said to Roman, the reason why all this stuff has been happening is because I've been trying to protect you from Brock Lesnar. And that's all Roman needed to hear, because obviously Roman feels like Brock Lesnar is the one who has to be protected from Roman, and not the other way around. So after Roman heard that from Heyman, he fired Paul Heyman live on SmackDown. He then Superman punched Paul Heyman and knocked him out. Brock Lesnar came out to the ring and F5'd Roman Reigns. But there are still a lot of unanswered questions as to what exactly is going on. Is Paul Heyman actually fired? Is Paul Heyman now officially back with Brock Lesnar? Is Paul Heyman fired from WWE? Is this real? Is it fake? Is it part of a storyline? The truth is that Paul Heyman was not fired from WWE, and he will still be in the company. And then the other thing is, it is true that Paul Heyman will now once again join forces, and he will once again become the advocate for Brock Lesnar. However, this will only last a couple weeks. This is because at the Day 1 pay-per-view on January 1st, 2022, it's going to be Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. And now Paul Heyman is going to be in Brock Lesnar's corner. The only problem is Paul Heyman at the pay-per-view is going to double-cross Brock Lesnar. And it will be revealed that the whole firing was a charade. It was a setup to trick Brock Lesnar so Roman Reigns can defeat Brock at Day 1, because during this match at Day 1, Paul Heyman is going to somehow interfere in the match and distract Brock Lesnar, and then Roman will be able to do something like chair shot or something when the referee isn't looking, and then get the 1, 2, 3 on Brock Lesnar. And then at the end of that Day 1 match, Roman and Paul Heyman will stand in the middle of the ring, arm in arm, and reveal that it was all a setup to fool Brock Lesnar, and it worked perfectly because Roman defeated Brock Lesnar at Day 1, and he was able to retain his Universal Championship. And Paul Heyman will officially get back together with Roman Reigns as they become even more powerful than before. And this is all just a setup to make the Roman versus Brock feud last even longer, because they want a WrestleMania match out of it. They want Roman versus Brock at WrestleMania in 2022 to be the main event of the show, and they want this to be like the build-up to be gigantic because, oh, now Paul Heyman tricked Brock Lesnar, and now you got to have the big third match of this current feud. So the big takeaway from SmackDown is that Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman have set a trap for Brock Lesnar, and unfortunately Brock is walking right into that trap, and at day one, the trap will be sprung, and Roman and Paul Heyman will show that they are truly an unstoppable force in WWE. Now, many fans have been hoping that at the day one pay-per-view, Brock Lesnar will be able to defeat Roman Reigns and then become the Universal Champion. That, unfortunately, will not happen and really cannot happen. And the reason why is because Brock Lesnar has a part-time contract. He only has to do maybe 15, 20 appearances a year. Whereas Roman Reigns, out of 52 weeks of the year, he's probably on 48 or 49 episodes of SmackDown and wrestles at every pay-per-view. Whereas Brock Lesnar, if he became champion, well, he would only be on the show maybe once every month, once every 6 weeks, and he would probably wrestle at every other pay-per-view, probably 5 or 6 pay-per-views a year. The Fox network just will not tolerate having a part-time champion where he's not seen on TV for over a month. He just doesn't want to be on the show every week. He doesn't want to wrestle at every pay-per-view, and also he doesn't have to. He has enough leverage, enough star power to have a part-time contract and make a lot of money. So unfortunately for Brock Lesnar fans, Roman Reigns is going to defeat Brock Lesnar and retain the Universal Championship, and he'll do this with Paul Heyman secretly in his corner, and obviously as the pay-per-view goes off the air, it will be revealed that Paul Heyman has secretly been in cahoots with Roman Reigns this whole time, and this whole thing with firing Paul Heyman on SmackDown was all a big ruse to trick Brock Lesnar. What are your thoughts about Roman Reigns firing Paul Heyman? Leave a comment below and give me your opinion. And don't forget to subscribe and click the bell notification so you are notified when we upload a new video.